Hello and welcome to the Halo Forge Epidemic. This is Oakley HiDef and I'm here to bring you the second part in my infection guidelines series of videos. This one is going to be covering labels and requirements for the infection game type. So basically what I'm going to do here is show you guys just what you need as a bare minimum on the map, how to set up the different things, and so you're ready to go with your map. So the first thing you want to do is open up your Forge menu, and what is key here is you're going to put up your map and game type right here. Game type has to be infection, so you can add the specific labels. If you're going to build a map, you can do it on any game type and the core of the map will still be there. But to add labels, you need to put the game type infection before you go in. So let's start this off. And as I get into it, there are pretty limited in terms of what you need for infection. It's nice. There's only a couple key things to make it run. Of course, there's a lot more detail in terms of what you need on the map to make it play well. But to make it play, it's relatively easy. So we'll start off here. Basically, all you're going to need on your map is what's right here in front of you. You're going to need spawns, you're going to need an infection haven right here, and then you're going to need safe and potentially kill zones, either one or the other. So I'll go over this. So essentially how this is going to work is the humans are in red and the zombies are in blue. So you put down your initial spawns just like this, and that'll obviously dictate where the players initially spawn. As I said, red is human, blue is zombie. Now, you're going to want to put down a lot of initial spawns because your map is going to be played by different people who may be changing up the game type. So though you may intend for only one starting zombie, players might put 4 or 5 starting zombies. So you just want to accommodate that. Make sure you have enough starting points for up to maybe even 15 zombies, just in case the game type calls for it. So you want to be pretty flexible. Same with humans. Go ahead and put up to maybe like 15 initial spawns for the humans, just to make sure in case people are playing with a different game type. Then what you can do is put down respawn points, for the teams. If you put it down as a neutral spawn point, anyone will spawn there. Then easily to make it a human spawn, you put it to red, and for a zombie spawn point, you make it blue. Now, when you're putting down respawn points, obviously that's when you die, that's where you respawn. You want to make some for either team, so that the humans aren't spawning in the zombie spawn rooms and zombies aren't spawning where the humans respawn. So that's key. It's also very important to have a large number of respawn points. The reason behind this is because, well, A, you don't want humans camping the zombie spawns, and you don't want zombies camping the human spawns. So you want a lot of different spawn points so it's unpredictable, and so none of them can be camped. Another reason you need a lot of spawn points is because if there are, say, a human kills off a lot of zombies, and there's 10 zombies waiting to spawn, if there are only 5 spawn points on the map, 5 of them are going to spawn and the other 5 are going to spawn randomly around the map outside of your map. So you want to make sure there's enough respawn points to cover any possible scenario. So what you should do normally is have 16 spawn points at least, because you never know what can happen in your game. You want to have your bases covered so everyone can respawn. Also, you want to take into account that spawns can be covered by players standing there, so you're going to want a little bit more spawn points just in case it so happens that at that instant that the 10 zombies died, all the other spawn points aren't either being blocked or taken up or something like that. So you want to make sure you have that in mind because you don't want players spawning outside your map. Another thing you might want is a loadout camera. Loadout camera is found by going into spawning, and then you go down to initial loadout camera, put it down, spin it around, and this is where players are going to be looking when they spawn. One way to check what the spawn camera is you'll look through here, and that's basically the view of what you're going to see in game. So that's one way to see, sort of anticipate what you're going to be having. Initial spawn camera isn't crucial, but it is generally something you want to do on your map. Now the next thing, this is the required object for the map. Obviously spawns are required. The next required thing is going to be an infection haven, a safe haven. And the way you do this, it can be actually set to anything as long as it has a shape to it. But typically what you want to do for a haven is use this hill marker here. And then what you're going to want to do is go into hit X, go into advanced, and then you're going to go to game type label infection haven. And there you go. All of a sudden you have a safe haven on your infection map. Now, your game type might not call for safe havens, but you still need one on the map in order for it to work. So even if you're not going to use safe havens, you do need one on your map. Now, a bit about safe havens. I said that it has to have a shape. So what you can do is go into here, shape. Obviously, none is not going to work. You can have a cylinder, you can have a box. Change the parameters of that. Basically, anything inside of this, inside of the shape that you change will be given the hill traits, which you change in the game type. So that's basically it. You can make various things hills. Obviously, hill markers are good because they're invisible. You can also make objects hills. Something really cool that is done is making, say, a warthog or a vehicle a haven, because that way it's movable, and I've seen a lot of cool things done with that. Also, thing to note about safe havens, you don't need a team, so that's, I guess, you don't need a team, so that's just something to note. You don't need to put, tell it that it's the humans, it will automatically go to the human side. Spawn sequence, this is important. It seems like you would be able to choose what the spawn sequence is for your hills. So say you want, okay, first there'll be this haven, then second, third, fourth, etc. I wish that were the case. It isn't. Safe havens will appear randomly on the map, so there's no way of dictating which one will happen first. I think if you put one as 0, that will be the first one, but then after that it's all random. Also on your map, if you're using safe havens, you want to have more than one haven. One is required to make the map work, but you need to have 2 havens, because otherwise the announcer will start glitching out when he's announcing havens, and there'll be some errors in that. So you want at least 2 havens, because when hill moved, it will just move to the same hill, and there'll be some sort of glitch. So you want to make sure, if you're going to be using havens, to make more than one safe haven. Okay, and just moving on with different labels, I'll show you guys this. You can label anything infection. It's not going to do anything to the piece unless you go ahead and do game specific. What this does is, if you set it to true, then anything set as the invasion label or infection label will only spawn in infection. So say you're using a multi-purpose map, if you want scenery or if you want spawns to be infection only, you're going to put them as infection, game specific, true. Looking through the other labels, infection spawn actually doesn't do anything. Infection haven we went over, and then no labels, just what you have as a default. So that's basically it. It's pretty simple. Then moving on, this isn't required to make the map work, but it is pretty useful in terms of making your map play well. So what you have on the left is a kill zone, on the right is a safe zone. Now, in infection maps, you want to keep your players in the confined zone. The biggest problem with any infection map is when players camp, and players will try and exploit your map as much as possible. So you want to prevent that with soft kills and safe zones. So the difference between these two is a kill zone, the area that you define will kill you, whereas a safe zone, the area that you define will save you. Now I'll go into basically how this works. So I can go into, I'll back out all the way actually, spawning. Then you're going to go to kill or safe area boundaries. So I'll go into safe area first. What you have is a safe boundary and then a soft safe boundary. A safe boundary basically is you put it down, anyone inside here will be safe. Once you step outside of this, you'll immediately die. This is contrasted with a soft safe, which is when you leave this, you will have a 10-second counter to get back inside. So that's a slight difference. And then what you can do is go into kill boundaries, kill and soft kill. Kill kills you immediately. Soft kill will give you 10 seconds to get out of this area. Now the way soft kills and safe kills interact is a safe boundary will say, okay, you're safe anywhere here. Everything outside of here, you'll either die immediately or die slowly. Now when you put a kill boundary inside of that soft safe zone, you will still die. So the kill zone will override a soft safe. So what you want to do with your map is usually put a soft safe zone around the general area of your map. That way if anyone possibly gets outside of that area, they will die. Then what you want to do is go back and finesse areas with your normal kill zone to keep players from getting into areas. Because say your map is not necessarily the circle or the rectangle that the soft safe zone just shows off, then you have to cut off the corners and different areas with the kill zone. So that's about it. You want to keep your players within the boundaries of your map. Use the soft safe zone just to circle your map, and then the kill zone to finish it off, put in the gaps that the safe zone didn't cover. So that's about it. It's relatively simple for infection.
All you need are, for the bare minimum, are spawns and the infection haven. So that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. This has been Oakley HiDef with the Halo Forge Epidemic, and I'm signing out. So thank you.